Hey, yo, turn on the light. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? Here's Joe Milton here, quarterback for University of Tennessee. Big shout out to Scotty D and JW over at West Tennessee Volcast. For all the latest Vol news, follow them on Facebook and YouTube, and hit that subscribe button. Let's go, Big Orange.
Welcome to the West Tennessee Volcast. I'm your host, Scotty D, here as always with my co-host, JW.
Hello, Vol fans.
Game one is in the books. 38-6 win over Bowling Green. Some people happy with it, some people not, but then there's some people that's not happy with anything. So we, of course, watched the game, and it's been being talked about a lot. We wanted to wait a day or two to kind of let things settle down and digest and see what we saw and break it down. To me, some of the positives, of course, the running game looked great. Two guys going over 100 yards, Evans and Small, they both really look good. O-line looked good. Milton started out 9 of 11. Then, of course, we know what happened from there. No, the passing game wasn't what we wanted it to be. But there were some flashes. There was also some drops. So the stats are a little misleading. They could have been a little better. He missed some people over the middle. He missed some deep balls. He throws everything 100 miles an hour. But the good part is that's all stuff that can be worked on. You can't teach that arm. I mean, now if he can't put it where it needs to go when it needs to go there, it doesn't matter. But he has the tools. I mean, that was obvious. You can kind of see flashes of what they saw in him. Some people calling for his head already. Oh, we got to have Harrison Bailey in there, and upset about that. But we're not in practice every day. We don't see everything that goes on. I think Harrison Bailey has a great touch on deep balls. It's probably something he does have over Milton at this point. But and who knows? We may see him. It's first game. We got a long way to go, and Heupel expects a lot out of his quarterback. So if we don't see improvement from Milton and he isn't able to make the adjustments, I think we will end up seeing either Hooker or Bailey. Some of the other positives, O-line, like I said, O-line looked good. D-line looked good. Secondary looked good at times. Second quarter was a little shaky. But one thing we did see that we haven't seen the past few years was adjustments being made. So that's a welcome sign. Didn't always see that. Sometimes things started going bad for us and they just continued to. We seemed like we didn't adjust. So it was good that they made that adjustment. Defense didn't give up a touchdown. That's another positive. Could we have scored 40-something, 50-something points? Yeah, I'm sure we probably could have and probably should have, but the spread was 35 points. We beat them by 32. So, I mean, it's not like the sky's falling to me. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. A win is a win. You always take a win. To be real about it, it looked like a team that had 35 transfers leave. It looked like a new team. It looked like a new offense. It looked like new coaches.
Yeah.
But a lot of positives take away from the game. A win's a win. Some of the negatives, Milton looked a lot like JG in some ways. He held the ball too long. He didn't throw open receivers over the middle. He looked indecisive. He does have an arm. To me, he looks like he's waiting to throw the receivers up to come open versus throwing them open. People's talking about Bailey. Bailey is the only quarterback on the team with an SEC start, SEC victories. So you're right. We're not in practice every day. We don't see what the coaches see. But I personally don't believe Bailey is a third string quarterback.
So, no.
But on the other hand, Coach Heupel didn't cut Milton no slack. He said, got some things you got to work on. Missed some receivers, missed some read options. He missed some, didn't throw the ball over the middle to some open receivers. So, I think they'll coach him up, and I think they'll be fine.
I think
They're
I
going
think
to play
that's
a
one of the
whole lot better to beat Pitt.
exactly. I think that's one of the key differences in everybody that's comparing him to JG. Yeah, there's some similarities. He had some overthrows, stuff like that. But the problem with JG was that we stuck with him too long. I don't think Heupel's going to do that. This is a different staff. You know, Pruitt was kind of ride or die with JG, and we saw how that played out. So I don't think Heupel's going to leave Milton out there longer than he needs to if he don't improve. But yeah, he showed some flashes, showed some things. But hey, at the end of the day, we got 3 pretty good quarterbacks. That's not a bad problem to have. You look at some of these other games that happened over the weekend. Mississippi State won by 1 point. Had to come from behind and just barely scrape that one out. I mean, there was lots of games that were way closer than they should have been. So I feel a lot better about our game after seeing some of the other games, and it could have been way worse. And just be thankful we played Bowling Green and got a chance to get some stuff on tape, get some stuff to work on before that Pitt game, because that's going to be the real test.
Yeah, Pitt, I said it in our last podcast, Pitt game's going to decide the year, I think, versus 5-7, 6-6, 7-5 win total. I did see that JG was pulled in the second quarter after safety. Washington State lost.
Yeah, I think he had an injury. He didn't throw a pick. But I mean, I think he was playing halfway decent. He did have that safety, but he got injured, and I know we joke around about it, but we wish the kid well. We don't wish him ill will toward him or anything. But
exactly.
And may hopefully he can come back. It's not anything serious. It's on that same token, Toa suffered an injury for Alabama too, but I don't think it's anything serious either. So they've moved on. We need to move on. So
Yeah, I hate to say it, but the Tide look good. They look like a protein. I mean,
they lose players. They lose half their team in the NFL and just don't miss a beat. They're on a different level. That's all there is to it. I mean, you can't. What else can you say?
Georgia's defense looked awesome.
Yeah,
there's a big win over Clemson.
Yeah, they were really impressive. I know Clemson got a new quarterback, but he did get some experience last year, so it's not like they were just trotting out there for the first time. So, I was expecting a little more scoring in that game. 10-3 sounded like a baseball score, but yeah, Georgia's D was really impressive.
Yeah. On the sour note, Vandy looked pitiful. Big loss to Tennessee State.
That was.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah, that had to be tough. It must be real tough to be a Vandy fan. So hopefully we mark out one as a W. Hopefully later in the year. We don't have many guaranteed victories, but hopefully that'd be one of them, unless they do a lot of improvement between now and then. The Pitt game, I watched a bit of it, trying to scout them a little bit. They looked pretty tough. Of course, they weren't playing, great competition either. And quarterback, he's accurate. He looked good. The one thing I think we might have is a size advantage on our O-line and D-line. So hopefully if our D-line can be aggressive like they were, I think we had 11 tackles for loss in this game and a couple sacks. So if we can get in his face and not give him all day to sit back there and throw the ball, and our secondary can play tough and play aggressive, I think we'll be okay against them, especially if we can run the ball like we were. I don't expect it's going to be as easy as it was against Bowling Green, of course, but we had some really good runs, and the O-line looked good. One good thing, I watched the Josh Heupel show earlier today, and he did say that they expect Cooper Mays to be back, so that's good because he suffered a bit of an ankle injury. I think he got rolled up on in the first half there in that last game. So, we don't need to start having injuries already.
Yeah, especially on the O-line. I don't think we're as deep there as we need to be as far as depth. Pitt did put up 51 points. They got a veteran quarterback. They got a veteran defensive line. I think they run 81 plays offensively. So it could be a shootout.
Yeah, they had one of the top defenses in the country last year. They were only, I think, 6-5, I believe it was. So they wasn't world beaters or anything, but they did have a really good defense. They did lose a couple of DNs, I think, that graduated last year, but they still have a stout defense. So that's going to be a really good test for us, and hopefully they can coach up the mistakes and everything this week and get all that cleared up prior to that game. I also, one thing I didn't bring up that I've seen brought up quite a bit on some sites and some fans bringing up is we don't know how much of the playbook we even wanted to show Pitt. So I mean, I think we were being very vanilla on offense, and just because we knew we could run it down their throat. So we may look a lot different coming out Saturday than we did this Saturday.
Yeah, well, you didn't see the great offense, that you hear Heupel's always had in the past. You didn't see the air show. I think they were holding back. I think they just did what they had to do to win the game.
Yeah.
We didn't see any of the backs coming out, no screens, no receiver screens. Speaking of receivers, I think our receivers have got to play a lot better. Hyatt had a couple of drops.
Yeah.
Kaydin had a drop. Didn't see a lot of separation on man to man from them. They've got some work to do in practice this week.
Yeah, Tillman looked good. Hyatt had some flashes. He had a couple drops too. It's probably tough catching that ball coming at you 100 miles an hour like that. That's just something they're going to have to adjust to, or he's going to have to learn to take something off of it. So hopefully they can get that worked out, and that'll hope they'll develop chemistry over time working together too. And with the 3 quarterback battle we had and them splitting reps and everything, they didn't get as many reps with just one quarterback, so they were getting different looks from different people. So I'm sure it takes some adjustment catching that ball from Milk the way he fires it in there. And I think you're exactly right on the way him holding the ball. I think sometimes that arm might be his worst enemy because he knows he can zip it in there. So he's just sitting back there waiting for it to develop instead of going ahead and throwing it, like you said, trying to throw people open. And I think that's what that was. I don't know if it was just being indecisive or he was just waiting for it to develop because he knew he could zip it in there. But one thing I did like, he didn't force a lot of balls. Probably missed. He probably, honestly, was probably overly cautious because Heupel even said that he missed some stuff over the middle that he probably should have hit. And so those are all things, like we said, that he can work with him on and fully expect him to. And hey, he's either going to improve and get better and will be better, or he's not, and we'll see Hooker or Bailey. So we'll just kind of see what happens.
He's kind of a freak. He's a phenomenal athlete. I mean, he's got the size. He reminds me of a young John Elway, where he'd stand back there and flat-footed and then just zip it across, try to force it in the window. But
I mean,
he's got the talent. I think he's just got to be coached up. He doesn't have a lot of experience, and it shows.
Yeah. I mean, he could flick his wrist and throw it, 40, 50 yards like it's a, like it's a screen pass. It's ridiculous, his arm.
His arm strength is incredible.
So I see what they see in him. I get it. But at the same time, he's going to have to progress. And Heupel didn't sugarcoat it. You're right. He pointed out all the mistakes and stuff. I mean, he didn't dog the kid. But, I mean, he saw the same things we saw. I mean, we're crazy if we think we know more than Heupel does about quarterbacks and offense. I mean, anything we saw, trust me, he saw too, and he's working on, and they'll get it ironed out, I hope. But yeah, the Pitt game next week, that's going to be huge as to how the rest of our season goes. We don't have a lot of gimmies. We got maybe 4 or 5, and then we got a few games that we're pretty evenly matched with some people, and we're going to have to win those games for us to be 500 or better this year. So with that being said, from what I saw from a lot of the SEC games yesterday, it might be a little unpredictable this year because some of the ones we thought were going to look better than they did, they didn't look too hot. So who knows how much of it's just first week jitters, working the kinks out, whatever. But it might get interesting in the SEC this year.
Yeah, I tried to catch some of all the games. Kentucky looked strong. New offense, new quarterback. They look good. Mississippi State was running that offense. They look good, but the defense did not look good. Like I said, they had to squeak that game out. South Carolina looked better than what I was thought they'd look like.
Yeah, with their grad system.
Yeah, I watched some of the Missouri game. Missouri looked good, but Missouri looked small. On TV, they look like a high school team. They just
Yeah,
look
they
small.
struggled. They struggled at the first of that game too.
Yeah.
They didn't play as well as people expected them to. So, like I said, there's questions everywhere other than Alabama, which I mean we know what that is. There's no question there. So we'll see how it shakes out on the recruiting side of things. I did go to the Hardin County Southside game Friday night. Got a chance to check out Kaydin Pope, wide receiver, Hardin County, live and in person, and he didn't disappoint. I think his finals totals was 6 receptions, 226 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. And he made it look easy. He probably could have had better numbers than that. I mean, it was obvious he was the best player on the field by far, and breakaway speed. He catch it, and once he got past the first level, he was gone. I mean, he has a offer from Tennessee. He has 23 offers actually, and Tennessee's one of them. I know they were the front runner at one time, but that was before they signed some of the wide receivers that they ended up signing. So haven't been hearing a lot as far as how hot they are on him right now. He's also got some local offers from like Memphis and I think Arkansas and some places like that. Several SEC schools. Just off the top of my head, I know Michigan. I mean, he's got several big offers, so I'm sure he's going to be successful wherever he goes. I'd love to see him at UT. If it doesn't happen, no, I mean, it was still good to get out and see some of this West Tennessee talent. And he, like I said, he didn't disappoint. I posted a video that I shot. His first touchdown, I couldn't even get my camera out of my video turned on fast enough because I said he's probably about to score, and he was gone. And so I did catch one of them, though. I think he had touchdown catches of 35, 70, and 51 yards. I mean, it was just – he just made it look easy. So great to see him. I know a lot of the coaches got out Friday night and went to some high schools from Tennessee and saw some people we saw. I posted a picture of Coach Heupel and Rodney Garner at the Powell and Corns game. And so they got out there and got a chance to see him. And also, I think there was a running back for Corns that they were probably checking out there too. Can't think of the name.
He's Deshaun Bishop. He's got like 800 yards already in 3 games this year. I think 7 touchdowns. He plays for Corns. Real good athlete. He's a 2023 recruit. Like I said, they played Powell, went up against Nolen. Powell come out victorious in that win, but Coach Garner, Coach Heupel were there. Coaches went by and seen them, talked to them that morning, wished them luck. Nolen's interviewed after the game. I don't know if you've seen the video, but they talked to him about his 3 final choices. Tennessee's one of them. He just said no comment, but then he said go Vols. So who knows?
Yeah,
I know he was at the Georgia game this weekend. They're still recruiting him hard. It's going to come down to the wire on this. I personally still don't believe he'd move to Knoxville and be playing in Knoxville if he's not going to Tennessee. But that's just a thought. Who knows?
I don't either, but I'm hearing a lot of Texas A&M chatter that they're picking up ground and that they've got a good chance of landing him too. So until he's with the team, even if he says he's committing to us, until he's with the team or has signed his national letter of intent and enrolled on campus, I'm holding judgment back to it could go either way because they're not going to stop recruiting him just because he says one way or another. So we need him. I'd love to have him, but
he's definitely cream of the crop. If you watch him play in 3 games, he showed out. But he's so far, they've been linemen on the field. The one thing Tennessee does have is early playing time. If he comes here, he'll play as a freshman. And kids these days, they don't want to come to the program and sit 2 or 3 years. They want to play right off the bat. And that's one of the good things Tennessee's got, along with Coach Garner and him being close, on Tennessee's side. So more to follow on that.
That's one thing we're seeing with the transfer portal too. I mean, something don't go a kid's way, they don't get to start, they're not where they want to be on the depth chart, and off they go. So that's not just a Tennessee problem, that's everybody. So that's really been a game changer too.
Yeah, Tremblay looked good. Deshaun Terry looked good. They had a couple plays, hurries on the quarterback.
Simmons looked good.
Simmons, they couldn't block Simmons. Simmons is
he stayed in the backfield.
He's going to show out this year.
Yeah, Barron looked good.
Barron looked good. Had a bad ball, had a sack, couple tackles. Hopefully we get Brian Young back. I think that's still up in the air. Something about some eligibility issues. Hoping we get Jimmy Callaway back. One of the coaches even made a statement that Callaway was the best receiver they had on the team as far as route running.
Yeah, I was disappointed in our wide receivers. I mean, it might have been like we were saying, some of the vanilla offense that they were running, trying not to show Pitt too much. But I don't think Velus Jones had a catch. Javante Payton, we didn't see much of. I mean, so we've got we're way better than we looked. I'll put it that way. Because those guys, they didn't get it. Jalen Wright, another speedster out of the backfield. I think he had a few touches. So we got a lot of weapons we didn't even use in that game. So still a lot more potential, and we're probably gonna need it against Pitt. So they better not hold anything back in that game. But we'll see how it goes.
Like I said, I think the Pitt game is going to determine UT's year, how it goes.
Yeah, we had a contest for a T-shirt, and we had a winner on that. His name escapes me. Blake Van won that. He guessed 38-3 was his guess, so he came awful close, came within 3 points of it. We had several that came close. I actually had a few came within 4 points of it, but Blake was the closest. And so we'll be getting him out a West Tennessee Volcast shirt similar to this one here. Get that out to Blake soon, and appreciate everybody for participating in that. And hopefully throughout the season, maybe we'll do a few more giveaways and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're up to 626 members now on Facebook. Of course, we're on Twitter, on YouTube also. Tell your friends. Appreciate the support. I'd like to see us hit 1,000 members our first year here. So keep getting the word out.
Yeah, if you're on Twitter, make sure and follow us. A lot of good stuff on there. Stuff seems to come out on there faster than it does anywhere to me. So I'm on there quite a bit and use it quite a bit. There's a lot of Vol Twitter is it's crazy on there. Sometimes it's just hilarious to see some of the stuff on there. Some of it I don't post on the Facebook group because it can get a little crazy, like I said, but it is some funny stuff on there, and it's definitely worth a follow. We're also on Instagram, YouTube, post all our videos on YouTube, so make sure and go on there and like and subscribe. And if you hadn't already, go on our Facebook group. So we're on multi-platforms, and we don't post all the same material on every platform. So just because you're on one, you might be missing out on a few things on some other ones. So go check us out if you hadn't already. I think that's all we got for this week. And we'll be, of course, tracking everything and keeping you updated on all the latest news. And hopefully, we'll have a good week of practice and everything leading up to Pitt. And got a little bit of tape on them, and we can go back and look at the tape on ourselves and correct some mistakes and everything and be ready for that game. And hopefully it'll be a good one.
Yeah, but as usual, go Big Orange. We'll see you next Saturday. We'll probably be on Saturday morning for the game.
Go Vols. See you Saturday.
Go Vols.